Hi guys, it's Dave with Online BizFacts, and today I want to do a quick video about leadership and what it takes to be a good leader. This video is not going to go over everything, of course, but we're going to talk about some of the things that make a good leader from my perspective and my experience as both an employee and a boss. But it's not easy, and it's certainly not for everybody. You know, everybody seems to think that if they were in charge, they'd do it right, they'd do it differently, and things would be so much better. And we certainly know that not to be true in our own real life experience. So whether you're an employee or a boss, just keep that in mind. Let's see, I've got my notes here, so I'm going to be referring to those. Vision. So a leader needs to have a vision for where to go and how they want to get there. And that comes from setting goals. So there's a lot of good articles on how to set goals, what kind of goals you need for the organization is going to be dependent on your organization and your role within it. If you're the boss, if you're the owner, you're going to have a much more global picture of what's going on than your sales manager does, or your finance manager, somebody else that works for you. So you got to have a vision. You got to have decent communication skills because you've got to be able to talk to your employees about that vision and convey that vision to them in order to get them on board. So you've got to be clear. Again, this is where goal setting comes in. Make sure that you have a clear understanding yourself before you can convey the goals to the employees. And you're going to have different goals for different employees. For your purchasing, you may want to decrease costs by 5% in your purchasing this year. Or your sales, you may want to increase sales or increase margins on your sales. Whatever that may be, you've got to be able to communicate that, and the more specific you can be, the better. You have to have confidence without ego, and this can be tough, especially if you are the entrepreneur, you are the owner. You need to be confident about your decisions and where you're going and how you're going to get there, but without an ego, especially if you have employees. And this, of course, is all about if you have employees. If you're on your own, you can have the biggest ego you want. But your employees, as far as you're concerned, it doesn't matter how you get that 10% increase in sales or that 5% decrease in your costs for purchasing. You're trusting your employees to do that, and let them do that, and let them have the glory for doing that. Don't try and take credit for everything that's done right in the business and try and pass off everything that goes wrong to your employees. Let's see. A really important thing, and it's really tough to convey to your employees, but it's really important to keep the big picture in mind. And if you can get your employees on board with this one concept, it's going to really help. So your overall business goals for the year are to increase sales, or to increase profitability, or to increase customer satisfaction, whatever they are. Keep those goals in mind. Especially, I had a retail business, and I'll relate to you. My employees were mostly young women, some young men, and it was a retail business, so they were behind a counter and they would help people coming in. It was a service business. It was a tanning salon. I had tanning salons, so people would come in and go tanning, and they would buy lotions and all that accoutrement that goes with tanning. And sometimes these people would come in a really bad mood, and the struggled with this because they would say came in and she was a real bee today, and it was awful. And what was ended up happening was they were saying, so I just did this and this and this, and it was because they were mad at the client, so they didn't treat them as well as they should have. And I had to convey to them, listen, your job is to do the right thing no matter how the client is. If you guys get paid on commission, so the more you sell, the better it is for you. Keep that in mind. Just because somebody is in a bad mood when they come in doesn't mean you can't sell them something and get a good commission on it. That should be your goal, is to increase your income, not worry about anybody else's bad day. So that's a thing that really can be difficult to get employees especially to understand. But it's important for the boss to understand that too, and to keep that in mind, because it's good with employees too. You want your employees to be on your team and to be productive members of your team. So especially when you're disciplining them, things go wrong, and you need to be able to discipline your employees. Don't be so harsh that you're going to hurt the relationship, so that they're no longer going to want to help you get to your goal. Yeah, I hope I'm being clear about this. So yeah. Now, finally, be fair and firm with your employees. Now, that doesn't mean you need to treat everybody the same. Employees want that, and if they are all doing the same job and they're all doing equally as well, that's fine, but we know that never happens. So you're allowed to treat the best salesman better. You're allowed to pay them more. You're allowed to give them extra perks that the other salespeople don't get. And you can explain, when you guys are as good as that salesperson, I'll do it to you. I'll do it with you too. But you can't be doing that for everybody, and they shouldn't expect that. They will expect that, but they shouldn't. And you have no obligation to provide everybody the exact same thing all the time. So just be aware of that. You need to be firm but fair. So you've got to be able to treat everybody fairly according to the job they're doing. Okay, so really those are just some of the things I wanted to go over about being a leader and what makes a good leader. If you have any others that you'd like to add, go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear about those, and maybe we can do another video about this later on. We'll incorporate those, because like I say, this is certainly not an exhaustive list, but just a few guidelines for you guys to keep in mind. So go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks, guys.